Okay, so we are what?
I beat you to the punch.
Beat me, but then I got the recording, no? That was me? Okay. Mishnah Tzadi Beis Amar Aleph. We're going back to Parshas Lech Lecha of Vayera for a lot of today's daf. A lot of Agadatas. So it's like the Mishnah, yeah? Tzadi Beis Amar Aleph, the Mishnah, yeah? About 7 lines down. Right, so now we're talking about doing damages. Right? Even though he gave him the money, there's no mechila. Meaning, don't think just because you did damage to somebody and you paid them, so don't think that he's meichel you. You have to ask him for slicha. Shenema, bata hashev eshes. Right? How does it go? The whole pasuk hashev eshes ish ki navihu yispal ba'atcha bechia, yeah, etc. etc. This is talking about. So we all know the story of Avimelech and Avram, right? It seems like that was standard practice that whenever Avram would hit a town, he would tell everybody that Sarah was a sister, right? And Avimelech, of course, took her, and then he was struck with the I don't know if it's a plague, and it wasn't a plague, whatever it was, and every orifice in his body was closed up. And then he figured out what happened, so he apologized to Avram, etc., right? So we're saying, you see from there that even though there was a punishment, but there was still an apology. But when you do this, you have to apologize. Right? So, and how do you know that if you're not moichel, then you're considered an afsar, you're considered cruel, meaning the victim should be moichel. You see that Avram, not only was he Michael Avimelech, but he even davened for Avimelech to get better. That's how much he was Michael. So that's what you have to do. Fine. If somebody goes over to a guy and says, blind me, right? Or cut off my hand, Shavaras Ragli, break my foot, Chayev, that person's going to be Chayev. I mean, just because the person told you to do it, right? Just because the person told you to do it, doesn't mean you're not going to be Chayev. You're not allowed to do it, even if the person asks you. And even if he says, I'm a nas lifter, even if the guy tells you, do it to me and you're going to be potter, he's still Chayev. But then the second case is Korah as Ksusi, but if he says, rip my clothing, Shavar as Kadi, break my jug, then Chayev, he's going to be Chayev, which is the same case as damaging him physically. But Almanas lifter potter. But if he says, do it to me and on the condition you're going to be potter, then he takas potter. So it comes out a big difference between asking the guy to physically damage you, in which case you're potter, right? Or asking a guy to damage your property, in which case if you tell him on condition that he's going to be potter, then you're potter.
Yeah. Did you say that backwards?
What do you mean?
You tell him to damage your body, and he's
no, damage body is chayev. Damage property is potter.
Right.
Yeah. Also came leish pliny amanas lifter chayev ben begufa ben money. If you tell a guy go hit somebody on manas that you're gonna be potter, which I guess the guy's the biggest sucker in the world, right? Chayev ben begufa ben money. Right, he's chayev.
So are you allowed to play hockey and football?
That's a good question. It's a shot. You know what it comes up? Hockey, football, boxing. What's it called? That other thing everybody does when they with the guns.
Paintball.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's very. This is a big enough community.
What do you mean? No, it's you're hitting a guy. The guy's obviously Michael. right? You're playing football. You're hitting the guy.
And your intention is to hurt him. I'm saying like you're trying to,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about the fellow that I dislocated his shoulder in wrestling years ago. And it still bothers me to this day, even though we were good friends. But I still dislocated his shoulder. It's like maybe good, maybe it's yeah. It's
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if we'll be able to discuss it. I think Ramosh has a tshuva on boxing. I think. The mice of the place give him a because you're not looking dafka to hurt them. I don't know about boxing.
Boxing.
Boxing. But etzem, you're not looking to hurt them. You're looking to knock them out without hurting them. I don't know. The paintball, they say you're not looking to hurt the guy. It's just a stinging thing. So it's yeah.
Sometimes it causes bruises though. Also, would that make a difference?
Right.
Yeah, I think if you're doing it with kavana, without kavana, then it's fine. Right? Okay, well maybe we'll.
I knocked him out unintentionally.
Okay,
okay, so I win. Okay, all right. I'll suffer with first place. All right, okay.
There you go. All's, what does it say? All's in fun and game. What does it say? In war and game? I don't know, whatever.
All's fear and love and war.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So I don't know if we could paskin off that, but that's first we have to find a makar for that. Is it a pasuk? Is it a chazal?
In the 1920s, a lot of the Irish boxers were really Jewish boys, but they couldn't get fights under Jewish names, so they used Irish names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Zokti Gemara. So Tanur about
Murder Incorporated.
No, I'm not talking Murder Incorporated.
I said it. It doesn't because it sounds like
that's a different schmooze. That's a different schmooze.
That's another highlight of Yidden, of the beauty of Yidden. But anyways, Tanur about yeah. Call Zokti Gemara. Call Elu Shamru. Don't may bushta. All these things that we say, that we're talking about. That's all for busha. About tsar, afilu hevi kol eile nevaya shabayim. Even if you bring all the rams of nevayas, which is the most chashuv rams in the world, and you give it to the guy. Meaning, you give him all the presents in the world, and it's not. There's no mechila. You got to man up, and you have to ask him for mechila, which is a whole nother sugya. So basically a different version of a bride, a different version of the Mishnah. Do you have to ask, or can the
I was going to think the same thing. If I'm giving him 100 rams and he says, okay, enough, I'll mochel you, but I never asked.
So that's the question. Do you have to ask, or is just a mechila enough? Right. So it's not. Yes, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if you have to stop there.
Yavakish, I mean, the Yishal would be to ask. Yavakish, I wish to have Mechila, and he gives me Mechila, I got it. So the Yavakish, that's something that you desire, you look for, but it doesn't mean Yishal.
Yavakesh's request. What's the difference between Yavakesh and Yishal?
So Rav, I think, is saying a vart. Like Bikesh means you're Mevakish, I'm a Mevakshe Hashem. Right?
I don't know what that means.
You know what? I'm a, the Mavakshe Hashem Kihila. They're Mavakshe Hashem. Right? Meaning it's just, I want Mechila. Racham is saying it doesn't mean he needs to ask it specifically. Right? I don't know. Okay, whatever. It's a big shaila in Hilchos Yom Kippur. Do you have to ask or not specifically? Fine. So Gemara asks, so what did Bava Melech say? I got to return her, meaning Sarai Menu, because he's a Navi. So was it the Eishes Navi Bayadure, Eishes Acher Loi Bayadure? If it would be a Stam lady, I wouldn't have to return her, only Eishes Navi. Amar Shum Bar Nachmeni, Amar Yonasan, Hashev Eishes Ha'ish Mikol Makam. It's an Ashes ish. You got to return her. With the
Well,
Ka'amra, what?
If we're trying to learn things from Avram Avinu, I don't know why I don't know how we do that. That's my problem. But maybe a melech would only has to return a Navi's wife. You don't have to return anybody else's wife. These guys had 100 wives. They didn't return people's wives. You know. Well, you can't learn out a din from a king and from the first Jew in the world. Different people, kind of people, different people.
Ain't the kapasha, loisinav. Ain't this Rashi says it's Ashes ish. Loisinav. That's how I ain't the kapasha.
Okay, good.
So the guys
Avimelech's dead already. He didn't learn this parsha. He's already dead.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, we're gonna see more on this concept to cover more either on our basement stomach tomorrow night stuff. What we learn out from Avram and Sarah. But anyway, so it's saying with the Ka'amra, Amrit Hagoy Gam Tzadik Taroik, are you gonna kill a whole nation, right? With a meaning, are you gonna kill even the innocent? Allahu Amrli, you told me that it's your sister. And she also said, meaning you guys baloneyed me. What did I do wrong? Right? Navihu, right? So Navi, the Kralimer, and he already taught you, and a guest who comes to the city, the first thing you ask him, say, hey, you say, do you need something to eat or drink? You don't say, oh, who's this lady, right? First ask him, how you doing? Do you have any place to eat, to drink? No, the first thing you guys start asking is, who's this girl, right? So that gave him meaning it was your fault by acting like such a pervert. Mamela Avram Avinu had to lie to you, right? So therefore,
and he didn't lie. She is a sister, just not by
not by parents, yeah, but others. Oh, she's a sister, yeah. Okay.
Anyways, so then the next line is a major line. For a ben noyach gets killed if he should have known, even if he didn't. Right? Meaning, still, maybe he just didn't have any menschlichkeit. Right? Maybe he didn't have any menschlichkeit, so therefore he's chayav misa. Right? So, yeah. So that we see from this that a ben noach is chayav, meaning a yid normally would not be. Right? I'm just looking at the Rambam here. Yeah, so the Rambam says that a ben noach, Rambam Hilchos Malachim says that a ben noach that was a shoygig in any of the mitzvahs, he's takapotem. But then the Rambam says that's if he was a shoygig and he was over below kavana, right? Meaning like he was together with a woman, and he thought that it was his own wife, or he thought she was single. But if he knows that it's an Ashes ish, but he didn't know the din that you're not allowed to be together with Ashes ish, then he's a kar of lemeitzah, the Rambam says, and then he's chayiv.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a big difference.
We say there's no marriage by goyim. So how do you say it's the guys with an Ashes Mazana with an Ashes ish? We say there's no marriage by goyim.
No, there's no marriage, but they still have to. They have Ashes ish. They have dinam of Ashes ish.
However, they're not married.
However, they're considered married. If they live with each other like husband and wife, that's considered Ashes ish. Right? As a ben noach just walked into my room. Yeah.
I don't they live together, they're married, so when she moves out, they're not married?
It could be. That's a whole different story. Anyways, but a very interesting thing that a ben noach, a yid can taina, well, there's a whole shaila whether chisar and yidi is considered a shagig or not. But that's by a yid. According to this Gemara, this chisar and yidi by a guy is not a shagig. Fine. So the Gemara by Tiki Otzar Hashem. Right, so Hashem held them back. right? Of every, meaning it, he held back, meaning he closed up every opening in their bodies. What are they for? The two atziras. Achas beish shikha zera. So the man was not able to be motzi shikha zera. Shtayim beisha, and there's two by a woman. Shikha zera v'leida. They couldn't have shikha zera and they couldn't have leida. What does it mean they didn't have shikha zera? Meaning they couldn't become pregnant because the zera in the body wasn't going where it was supposed to go. Right? Fine. B'masnisatan a shtayim beish, two by a man shikha zera ketanim, like the urine. Shloisha beisha shikha zera ketanim v'leida. Then right, this shikha zera, meaning the second sheet that just adds on ketanim. Ravina mashalish beish shikha zera ketanim pitabas. Right, that's by three by a man. He's adding going to the bathroom number two. Right, gedolim arba beisha shikha zera leida ketanim pitabas. So it comes out that Abimelech is the one that was over on the Isser, and the women got more punishments. The man is the one that did the Isser, and the woman got more of a punishment. Yeah, fine. The ad called Rechem. So what does it mean? Even kol rechem, meaning everything, every single thing was closed up, even the chickens. So now we're gonna have a back and forth between Rava and Rava Bar Mori till the bottom of the next Amud. All these back and forth. Right? So sorry for the background noise. Anybody who's Mavakish Rachamim on a spend, and he needs that thing himself, right? This is a major hashkafa. I don't know if it's halacha, no, but before Yom Tov, right? Before Yom Naraim, it says, "Daven for your friend, you'll get answered first." So how do we know this? Amalei Tosiv, Hashem Shabbos Shvus Eov Bispalei Badrei, and Eov, when he davened for his friend, gave it to him first, before his friends. So he got answered first. Amalei Atamar Mehasam, so he told him, "You say from there, but no, I mean, I'm going to say from here." Right, such Avram davened to Avimelech. Hashem remembered Sarah that she was pregnant with Yitzchak, right? Which that happened before they were healed by Avimelech. Kasher Amar Avram el Avimelech, the way Avram said to Avimelech, even though the baby happened later, right? But right, but I don't know exactly the timeline here, how it went down. It seems like the pregnancy happened first, or there was the idea that she was going to get answered first, right? I don't know. I'm not sure the history. Why I'm not sure the history, I don't know. Yeah, fine. Another one. How do we know the Amri Inchi Bahadi Hutza Lucky Karva with the what do you call it? Hadi Hutza with the how do you call it Hutza? We had the thorns. Lucky Karva. You get the Karva is spinach or what do you call it? Whatever stuff that grows on the ground next to it. Meaning, sometimes the good gets thrown out with the bad. That's basically what he's saying. Right? There's a pasuk in Yirmiyah that's saying everybody went against Hashem. But everybody didn't go against Hashem. The Nevi'im didn't go against Hashem. But you see, they were all lumped in together. Right? So Amarle at Amr Mehasam, you say from there, but no, I mean, and I'm going to say from here. At Ana Mehantam Lishmar Mitzvah last week's parsha, right? It's the last week's parsha thing, or 2 weeks ago, no, last week, right? how long are you going to go? You're not going to listen to my mitzvahs. Now, it was only really, it was Dasan and Aviram, right? It wasn't the whole Klal Yisrael. They were referred to Klal Yisrael. So, meaning the few ruin it for the many, right? Amar le Rabba le Rabba Amari Ksiv u'miktzei Eichav Laka Chamisha Anoshim. Right, when Yosef Atzadik, when they came down to Mitzrayim, so Yosef took 5 of his brothers. Maninu Chamisha. Which 5 did he take? Amalei Hachayam Rav Yochanan. Anybody whose names are repeated when Moshe and Bezais Abracha benched the Yidden, so any benched the Shvatim before he died. So that's any name that was doubled. Those are the ones that were taken. So you want to ask Yehuda Nami Ichuli Michvel. So Yehuda was also Yehuda, and Yehuda was from the strong ones. Meaning this whole point was that Yosef took the weak ones so that they wouldn't be put into the Pare's army, right? So those are the 5 that were weak. Those are the names that were repeated. Okay, but Yehuda was a big, strong fellow, and his name is also repeated. So why? So Amalei, the Milsa Yehuda, there was a reason that he was doubled. Right? Reuven lived and he shouldn't die, and his people, his men should be counted, and then it says etc. So the 40 years that Klal Yisrael was in the Midbar, Yehuda's bones were rolling around in the Aron. Right, they had no peace. Until Moshe had Racham, asked for Racham on Yehuda. Amar Lefanov, who was the one that caused Reuven to be Maida when he mixed up the beds from the pasuk says he was Mazana with Billah, right? But we know that it means that he wasn't Mazana, he just switched the beds. So who caused him to admit it? Yehuda, because when Yehuda with Tamar admitted his wrongdoing, so Reuven said, Yehuda admitted, so I could also. Miyad Shama Hashem called Yehuda. So that's what it means. Hashem heard the call of Yehuda, the voice of Yehuda. So all Evarei l'shafel. So then his Evarim went into their sockets.
See, Yaakov,
So
you won't.
What?
You won't believe it.
Yeah.
In today's Wall Street Journal, in the House of Worship article, there was an article written by. He didn't sound like he was eating, but he wrote about the fellas from Zaka and the people in the Rabbanut who are in the army rabbis, what they have to do. And they made now, the first time I heard it, they're burying people in Eretz Yisrael in coffins now because of the Mach Shemainiks. What they did on October 7th was if they put them in just the Tachrichim, people would see Nebuch what happened to them. So to keep the way the bush and the extra tsar that people would have, the Avelim would have, they bury them all now in coffins.
Oh, really?
It's mamish this Gemara. It's mamish this.
Wow. I mean, I see in the pictures they always have coffins. No, the soldiers.
I didn't think about it.
The new thing, or they always did that?
No, they never used in Eretz Yisrael coffins.
No, but anytime I've seen soldiers levias, they always had coffins.
But
I don't know, maybe they took it out of the coffin. I don't know.
Not everybody was soldiers on October 7th.
Right. I hear. Very interesting. Today's Times? What'd you say? Times?
Today's Journal, the House of Worship section. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so anyway, so after this happened, Ole Barel the Shofar, so then the Evarim went into
this was only Yehuda, right?
This was seemingly only Yehuda, yeah. That's what it's, although there could be a lot of other Chazals, but we have this one. We have this one about Yehuda, right? But the story continues, right? So Yehuda, but he still couldn't go into the, what do you call it, Yeshiva Shamala, right? Or the Masifta of the Rekia. We don't have any Masiftas called Masifta de Rekia yet. I don't think anybody named the Masifta that, right? So it's interesting. That means, why couldn't he be? I mean, if the neshama and the guf are two different things, so why couldn't now Gershon weighs in for this one? He comes on now, Gershon, right? I'm saying the neshama and the guf are two different things. What? Just because bones were rolling around. Why does that mean he couldn't be in the yeshiva shomala? It seems like there's a connection there. There's a connection with his bones having peace and him being able to go into the yeshiva shomala. No, I don't have any idea what this all means. But anyways,
We'll go through it again when we get to Marcus. It goes through the whole thing again. So we'll get it when we get to Marcus.
Bez Hashem, yes. And go to his nation. He had no idea what the Rabbanim were talking about. He couldn't have a shackle of atari with them either. So Yadav Ravloi, and then it says Yadav Ravloi, his hands were fighting for him, or yeah, I guess I'm reading touch it. He didn't know that he couldn't understand the bottom line, the halacha, which in today's yeshiva environment doesn't seem to be an issue anyways. Right? And an Ezer against its sorest will be. Right? Meaning, so basically, all these things, his tefillas from Makubal, and that he was able to understand, that he was able to go to Yeshiva Shamala, and he was able to learn, and he was able to handle with them, and he was able to prosper. Fine. So I'm really Rabbi Bar Mori. Minoham and another one now. Minoham Ilsa Damri Inchi Basa Anya Azlan Yusa. That the poor get poorer. That's basically what that means. Right? The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. Amalei the Tana Shirim being Bikurim Beklasis of Shakesa. The rich people bring bikurim. Bikurim is the first fruits, right? So they bring it in gold and silver baskets, which obviously cost them more money. And the aniyim bring it in baskets of aravas, that peeled aravas. And then they have to give the baskets to the kahanim, right? And the kahanim would keep it. But the rich people who brought the baskets in gold and silver, they didn't. So the rich got richer. The poor couldn't afford nice baskets, and they ended up having to give the baskets. And the rich people had these fancy baskets, and they took them back. So Malay, right? I mean, it's a typical thing, right? Like I tell people, if I go to Walmart and buy myself a watch because I can only afford a $20 watch, and then you have a rich guy who goes and spends $100,000 on a Rolex. In 5 years from now, my watch is worthless and his watch is worth 150. So who got richer? He spent $100,000 and actually paid less for a watch than me, who spent 20. Right? That's just the way it goes. Right? So that's exactly what the Gemara is saying.
Yeah, all the ladies, the secondhand pocketbooks or those fancy pocketbooks. Yeah.
Say right, all the same thing. Or you get yeshiva car and you spend half the year in the mechanic, or you got a rich guy who just gets a leased car and doesn't spend any time in the mechanic. Right? So anyway, so I'm relay you say that that's from the Bikurim is the source. Now, but Tame Yikra, that the Matzaira has to yell out that he's not only is he a Matzaira, but he's mechuyev to publicize to everybody that he's a Matzaira, so that people will not talk Lashon Hara. Amarle Rabba the Rabba, we're on the top line on Saturdays on the base. Amarle Rabba the Rabba Bar Mori. The reason why the Gemara is going through all this is because it's all Rabba to Rabba Bar Mori. Milsa Damar Rabban Hashkim ve'Echol Bekayitz. Get up and eat breakfast in the summer because of the sun, or B'charev in the winter because of the cold. Bamri Inchi Sheet and Rehute Rod. You would have 60 people that are running, and they will not be as fast as a man who korach means to wrap, meaning he ate a sandwich in the morning. So this is the importance of eating pashachas, what we call it. Eat a good breakfast, which I think the nutritionists say to do. I don't know now with the starvation diets, but whatever. But that's what it's supposed to give you energy. The sieve, it says lo yiravu, lo yitzmo, lo yakem shara b'shamash. They're not going to be hungry. They're not going to be thirsty. And the heat and the sun is not going to hurt them. Amarle atam mehasam. You said it from there. I'm going to say it from here. And you will serve Hashem, your God. Zu kriya shema tefillah. That's talking about kriya shema tefillah. It's going to bench your bread and your water. Zu pasu melach. That's bread with salt. V'kitan shamayim and a jug of water. Nikan ve'elech. And then it says it's going to remove the machla from your kerecha. So bottom line is you eat a good breakfast, very healthy. But Tanya machla zu, what is this machla? Mara, that's the gallbladder, right? V'lamar nikra shema machla. Why is it called the machla? Because there's 83 sicknesses having to do with the gallbladder, and machla is gematria hachiyavim. The word machla is gematria 83. All right, so therefore we see that eating and drinking will take away machlas. The kulan pasamelach shachas shemayim bavatan, and all these 83. If you eat bread in the morning and you have a jug of water, then that's going to be mevatel all of them. All right, so the question is,
why are you saying kapitel pei gimel? Kapitel pei gimel.
I hear that.
Is it only if you eat by opinion a ben or something? It's like you fasted 83 times.
What?
If you eat by opinion a ben, I think.
Something. It's 83.
I think so. That's yeah. I think it's 83.
It would fit. It would fit. I don't know if there's any source for that.
I don't know if that's the right. No, I think it's 80. I'm not sure, but it's something in the 80. I think it's 83.
Right. Okay, could be.
I don't know where to look it up. I don't know where you look it up.
I looked into it. I never really found a good source.
I mean, the first place to look is Google.
What?
First place to look is Google it.
I probably did Google it.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
I think Rabbi Gamliel Barabinovich has a sefer on it.
On Pidyon Aben?
On this fasting, yeah, I think so.
Okay. Anyways, let's see one more or two more. If your friend calls you a chamor, then uchva legavach mush. Take a uchva, the saddle, and put it on your back. Right? What does that mean? So Rashi says, admit it. If your friend calls you something, and you're b'maid al emes, that's basically what he's saying. Don't deny it. All right, I think that's the way the PR places tell people nowadays to do it. If you're caught with something, come straight out and admit it, and don't try and shove it under the rug.
Which places would you say?
PR, public relations. They have all these PR firms. No, they don't.
No, PR means Puerto Rican to me. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Guys I work with in the Barclays, they always go to PR.
I'm sorry.
Rav, I hate to say it, I think they say they're going to DR.
He's right, yeah, DR.
DR.
Dominican Republic.
The ones who go to
Dominican
Dominican
Republic.
Republic go to DR, and the ones who are Ricans who go to Puerto Rico go to PR. But
I never heard-
I know you. I know you.
Byron, my
I know-
father used to have a cap that said PR. He's like Puerto Rican.
I know they're
Yeah.
very provincial. The Yechevri on this is not. They're very provincial people. We understand that.
Sorry for bringing up a sore point all the way around. Okay.
Rav got attacked that one by me and Naftali at the same time.
And it was worth a shmek topic.
Right.
Abba Shmuel Novak would say, together was a shmek
One
topic.
second. Rav, I'll take you up on that Shmek topic tomorrow morning.
Okay, it's always there for you.
Yeah. So, anyways, so basically admit it. So Amalei Siva Yomer Hagar Shivcha Sari. This is This okay. It's a good thing this one's a Friday. The Siva Yomer Hagar Shivcha Sari Amy Zebas for Anna Selefi. Right. The Malach said to Hagar, where you going to, and where who are you? Meaning, where you coming from? Where you going? But time of I'm running away from Sarah. That she was a slave, right? So Amarle Rabba Armari, you know how Milsa Darmi Inchi. How do we know this thing that people say Milsa Gana the Isbeh Kadam Amar? If you know you have a Ganai in you, if you have a Chisaran, so come say it, come out and say it before anything. Amarle Yasiva Yomer Eved Avram Anoichi, because he said, Eliezer said before he even went to speak to Rivka when he was handling the shidduch. So before he just opened up and he said, I'm an Eved, right? So Amarle, find one more. Amarle Rabba Mari. Minaha Milsa Damri Inchi Shvel Va'azal Bar Abza. A duck goes down as it walks, but its eyes look up. And he's always looking for food, even though its face is facing down. Amalei, so he said, the Siv, Hashem la adoini v'zacharta es hamasecha. This is Abigail saying that Hashem is talking to David. He's saying Hashem is good for you and good for you, and but just remember your hamasecha, meaning remember maybe you want to marry me. Right? Yeah. Shall we? Okay, let's do one more. Amalei Rav LeRav Amar Mina Milsa Damri Inchi Shisin Tichli Machi Lakacha. 60 toothaches hit a tooth. Dekel Chabre Shama V'Loyacha. I'm sorry. Dekal Chabre Shama V'Loyacha. And somebody who hears his friend eating and he doesn't eat, so that's meaning there's a big headache if you see people eating and you can't eat yourself. Right? This is Nasan Hanavi complaining that they had tzaddik akayin, and they didn't invite me. So you see, he was not happy that he wasn't invited to eat. You say from there, and I say from here. Right, it says that Yitzchak got married, and then it says then Avram went and he got himself an Isha. So basically what Rashi's saying, I see Rabbanan logged off because he would go wild on this one, right? Basically the Gemara is saying that Avram Avinu, because Yitzchak was getting himself married, so Mamela Avram said, "Oh, he's married. I also have to be married," and he got himself remarried even after Sarah's Petira, right? Whatever that means, right? He decided to get himself married. Why? Because Yitzchak got married. So for that, you see that it's very difficult for somebody to withstand other people eating, and he can't eat, right? Right. Okay. So I guess we'll stop here. Okay, Tillen.
Yeah, it is my